Ready. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Deeva Show. We are also live on Facebook. I am here with Mr. Rodney R Jones. Mr. Jones,
Hello, how are you? Glad
Been-
to see you.
it's been a minute. We were supposed to do an interview before,
Yes.
but the thing is that in this business, things happen and you have to go where, your career is trying to take you. And
Absolutely.
sometimes you have to readjust things and everything. And then COVID hit.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
weren't able to link, for a long time. And people were just trying to survive basically around
Yeah.
that time.
It's true.
And you're a part of Witness. And when it was the end of 2019,
Mhm.
we had the big cast meeting.
Yes.
And we were all excited and ready to get started, and then boom, everything hit. But I want to tell y'all, if you check out the Witness trailer, you'll definitely see Mr. Rodney Jones. He plays a major part, a major role in this film, and I want you to make sure you check out Witness so that you can check him out. But we're going to talk about some other things because Mr. Jones is a part of a lot of things. I'm going to call you Rodney if you don't mind.
It's fine.
Is part of a lot of different things that's going on right now in the industry. You've done a lot of work, but what I do want to talk about first is we talked about before we got on camera.
Mhm.
We talked about Philly
Yeah.
and what's going on in Philly right now. And you have a strong background in law enforcement. And I just enlighten us, because I know we talked about it, but I know you see the differences in when you were on the force and what's going on now. Like, what can you say from the public standpoint as a civilian? We see certain things, but I'm also sure that you recognize certain things. So one, we want to point out, what was your last position that you had in law enforcement before you retired?
My last assignment was with Philadelphia Highway Patrol. And that's basically the motorcycles and the boots. We kind of like controlled the inner city,
Mhm.
focusing nothing on felony crimes. That's all we did.
Okay.
And it was generally a two-man team, and wherever the most crimes were committed in the city, that's where I would detail my officers.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I know you also had a position in the narcotics division
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Now, during the time that you were working on narcotics, I know that you went through that 80s part where it was just absolutely, I mean, it's terrible now, but that whole era was like really crazy.
Yeah, it was. You actually saw the transformation from the Black Mafia to the Junior Black Mafia to the Jamaicans and the Dominicans and everything in between. And during that time, the violence started increasing. If you remember during that time, Miami Vice was a big thing.
Yes.
And, everybody wanted to get into the drug game. They wanted the money, the gold, the flashy cars. They wanted all that.
Right.
So we seen an increase of that throughout the city. So they started forming several task force. And I was privy to be on two of them, a state task force and the task force with DEA. And because they had unlimited resources, that allowed me to purchase the kilos and the upper echelon part of the drug game. Why? Don't ask me now,
Mhm.
but back then it was just exciting.
I can imagine.
It was exciting, and we tried to take down and save as many neighborhoods as we could. But it was just unfortunate that when crack hit, and there was another shift. Because now you had it right inside the Black community, and it was destroying homes and families because it was so addictive. It was way more addictive than heroin. So, that's what we kind of focused on toward the later part of my undercover career is crack.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can believe that most definitely. And one of the things that you just said is, because I know you all are familiar, I work for department as well, but not in the capacity in which I'm out there on the streets doing law enforcement. I'm not an officer. But one of the key things that you did say is that during that crack period and era, y'all developed special teams
Mhm.
for that. And what I'm experiencing now is they develop special shooting teams. Now there's different, divisions, they have different shooting teams that actually go out and they're specific in investigating, what's going on as opposed to individual officers or, in the old sense on how they were investigated, because there are so many going on in the
Right.
city. So that's why they developed those special forces, and that's why they developed those special forces
Mhm.
when you were a part of the police department. So I am going to tell y'all that Rodney and I do share a personal person in the past,
Mhm.
very personal. And the both of them. One of them is Mr. Drexel Reed Sr., God rest his soul, and another is Miss Kitty Reed. So hopefully, Miss Kitty, you get an opportunity to watch this. But you worked with Drexel Reed.
Yes.
I'm going to say I met Mr. Drex when my daughter was on the drill team. Back then, it was called the Ogon Steppers. My daughter was maybe about 8,
Mhm.
and she was a part of the Ogon Steppers that did drill teams, performances, competitions, parades, things of that nature. And I met Mr. Drex because he was the lead drummer.
Oh, really?
He was the head drummer. Listen, when I tell you that he was a very genuine guy,
Yes, he was.
very genuine. He was very soft spoken,
Mhm.
but when he raised his voice, you knew he meant business.
Absolutely.
He kept our drummers so tight in line. I still have some of the tapes from watching them perform. So I remember him dearly because not only did my children have an opportunity to work with him, but they had an opportunity to learn some things
Mhm.
from him and Miss Kitty. So tell us about your experience with
Drex Reed, rest his soul. My last assignment was in Highway Patrol. And it's a very elite unit within the department. They take the best officers from all over the city and they place them in this one unit. And basically what they do is they focus on felony crimes. And me being a supervisor, for you to get appointed to that position, meaning that you were in high regards with the upper echelon. But one of the requirements that you had to do when you get there, you learn how to ride a motorcycle. I had a hard time riding a bicycle, but now we're talking about Harley Davidson, that big bike. And one of the requirements is you have to learn how to do it. And once you pass the course, they gave you what's known as the highway wings. It's your badge of honor.
Mhm.
And without wings, you're nobody and you can't stay in the unit. And so when I went to training, I had a very, very difficult time trying to ride that motorcycle. I don't know how many times I fell. So Drex came up, he said, Sergeant Jones, I'm going to personally train you how to ride this, they call it a wheel, this wheel. I'm like, Drex, I don't think I can do it, man. He said, trust me, we'll get you done. And he took 6 weeks with me every day, 8 hours a day, to learn how to ride that motorcycle. And all the things I've done in my life, that was by far the hardest thing that I've ever tried to do or accomplished. But I could not have gotten it done without Drex. And his leadership in terms of being an older officer in highway patrol, he also helped me learn the policies and how to run that kind of a department, unlike a regular district, because the guys that we had, they were very aggressive. And you had to make sure it was like military. It wasn't like loose like a district. Everything was spit and polished. We had inspections. There were salutes. Yes, sir. No, sir. And he taught me that, this is how you have never been in the military. So you have to up your game. Okay. Now, I've never been in the military, so I don't know about that. But it was paramilitary. Everybody walk past you as supervisor, they're going to salute you. Anything out of their mouth was yes, sir, and no, sir. They yes, sir, no, sir on the radio. And it took me some time to adjust to it
Mhm.
because I've never experienced it. But getting back to that motorcycle when it was over and we went on those details and I'm in the front riding that motorcycle, I was very confident that I could have never done it and got those wings without Drex. And Miss Kitty is Drex's wife.
Mhm.
So she's just a wonderful woman. And she's always been encouraging, always.
I'm going to tell you how myself and Miss Kitty, we communicated. In the beginning, we communicated because my daughter was on the drill team, and Miss Kitty was hard. She was hard. When it came to that drill team, I'm just going to tell you, she made sure everybody was in line. She didn't take no foolishness or anything like that. And she took, how do I say, every child personal. You know, she didn't treat it just as a drill team.
Mhm.
You know, she wanted to make sure you got home safe. You know, if you needed something to eat, she made sure she feed you. If you needed to hang at her house until your mom got off of work or whatever, or dad got off of work to pick you up because they couldn't pick you up right at drill, she would make sure that, you know, you were there, you were safe, and
Sure.
this, that, and the other. And so, you know, we hung out at the house for a while and things like that, helping do pom-poms and all that stuff. But we developed a very, very good friendship. So at one point, she decided that she wasn't going to do drill anymore.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, you don't want to do it. She said, it's difficult right now and I need to focus on some other things. So I understood, you know, with much respect, I understood. I said, okay. So I think maybe a year or two went by and I went to her because I wanted to start drill team.
Mhm.
So I said, Miss Kitty, I'm really thinking about, I said, the girls in the neighborhood miss you, they miss drill. And I'm thinking maybe I can help you with the drill team. She said, why don't you just do it?
Oh,
She said, just do it. She said, the only thing that I ask is that you keep Ogons, whatever name that you decide to name it,
mhm,
you can name it,
mhm.
but don't use Ogons. I said, not a problem. So we went on, you know, to do Wiser Steppers,
Okay.
but she was my confidant and the person I spoke with about everything in order for me to do that, you know, the different steps that I needed to take, how to get them into competitions. Like she held my hand through everything.
Mhm.
Oh, man, sorry. She held my hand through everything. And, you know, I appreciated that to the
Right.
point where she started to feel like mom,
Mhm.
you know. So I would come over and check on her every
Did
now
she
and then.
miss it?
Yeah, she missed it. She missed the kids, but it was other things that were more important that were
Got it.
going on. And I, you know, before she moved to Florida, you know, I would go and visit her as much as possible when she was over in Linwood Gardens, but now she's in Florida.
Yes.
And she moved there after the passing of
Drex.
Drex.
Mhm.
And I think I saw him a week prior to.
Really.
I did, yeah, that was a week prior to. So God rest Drexel
Rest
Reed,
his
senior
soul.
soul.
Yes.
We truly miss you. You are truly blessed to have such a family surround you during the most difficult time. And they even shouted him out at the Eagles game,
Yeah.
you know, and it blew my mind. I was like, wow, they just shouted him out at the Eagles game. So I want to move forward
Okay.
and I want to ask you, after having such an extensive career
Mhm.
with the police department, what made you think about acting?
Well, after I retired from the police department, I went into another career in pharmaceuticals. When I retired from there, I really wasn't doing anything. I can always say that I didn't choose acting, acting chose me. And what I mean by that is a young man was a police officer when I worked. He just basically got tired of being a cop. His name is Kevin Gee. And he basically quit and went out west to LA.
Mhm.
And he became Oprah's security guy.
Okay,
So that allowed him to be around all of her performers, all her actors, Queen Sugar, Greenleaf, and all of that.
oh, wow,
Okay.
I love Green.
Yeah, that's a beautiful show.
Yes,
So with Kevin, you know, by being around with them, he met me in New Orleans at the Essence Festival.
Okay,
Told me to come over and meet the cast.
wow.
So I went over, I'm hanging out with all of them, and I'm just like, so down to earth, they treated me like, like I'm part of what they are. And I'm eating it up, I'm taking pictures and hugging and shaking hands,
I know that's right.
but because Kevin got into that, and
Mhm.
he also developed a interest in directing.
Okay,
So whatever Oprah encouraged him to do, he did, because he stepped out and said, I'm going to do a film. And he included me in that film in a backup role as a CIA agent. And I'm like, oh man, this is pretty cool. And the lights and the cameras, it just fascinated me. I'm like, this is really, really cool. I didn't have one line, but I had a lot of actions and movement
mhm,
with the stars. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
yeah,
And on set, I met a young man who was one of the main players in the show, Nakia Dillard. You
mm,
know Nakia,
yes,
great brother.
yes,
And Nakia and I talked, and he said, listen, if you're interested in really acting, you need to take a class. So
mhm,
I joined his class. I did it for probably about a year, close to a year.
mhm,
And, I learned what I could, but the more I took the class, the more fascinated I became with it. It became like from an interest to a passion.
mhm,
So, with that in me, I started taking other classes,
mhm,
and I met some people along the way to encourage me and help my journey.
mhm.
But that's pretty much how I got into acting.
Well, I'm gonna say you have done quite a bit
Thank you so much.
for one that did not have it prior to, actually, how do I say this, being thrown right into the mix,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And yes, the cameras and lights, it can bring you into that, like, whoa,
Yes, it
I
will.
like this, I like this environment, I like
Yes.
what's going on.
Yes.
And, one of the things that I know about Nakia is he's very passionate about whoever he works with, or even somebody that doesn't work with him. He's very passionate about, um, working with people and helping them to get further in their careers. For instance, like you said, the acting classes, and I noticed a lot of his actors are doing a lot of major things, from the
Mhm.
children all the way to
Yes.
the, adults. So I'm gonna ask you this, outside of you getting into it, what has been the most rewarding part of it for you?
The most rewarding part, I would think, would be seeing the growth from day one to where I'm at now, and being able to accomplish the fact that I'm a SAG actor now.
Mhm.
And that to me was the ultimate achievement for me, because I never thought I could do that.
And see, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that we were going to talk about.
Okay.
So since you mentioned it, we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
So there are people that have been in the industry for quite some time that are still not SAG.
I know.
There are a lot of benefits to being with SAG that people are unaware of.
Mhm.
Understanding that people that have speaking roles, especially lead speaking roles in a film, are eligible, they get eligibility points.
Yes.
You get eligibility points. If you get three, then you become
3 waivers. Yes.
then you become SAG eligible.
Mhm.
People don't understand that. I know some people have said to me that they've gone onto the website, to try to pay their way on there, but why pay your way to get SAG, if you already been doing the work? There's some people that are not listing their work, not uploading their information to the IMDb
Mhm.
website. I'm gonna say it to you all, and I say it over and over and over. You're putting in the work, you're not getting credit for it. And the thing about it is, if you want to break into major films and you want to get booked for major films, it's okay that word of mouth. However, if you're in a production and someone sees you acting, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to go to your IMDb page to look up your information,
Yes.
so that they can reach out to you and contact you. But if you don't upload that information onto your IMDb page, you're just working for nothing. You're just working just to be working and having fun. So since since you did obtain your SAG status, how did it feel when you went down there and got
You
your?
know, I had 2 waivers,
Okay.
and basically I got the waivers from background roles.
Mhm.
What I was told part of my journey is you got to go to New York, you have to do background work. And if you get on network TVs, Power, Blue Bloods, FBI, things like that, they'll give you a waiver.
Mhm.
Okay, and once you get through, now you're SAG eligible.
Mhm.
But I had an opportunity to be in a SAG movie as a prominent role as a doctor.
Mhm.
And the young man that helped me do this, his name is Mark Dixon.
Mhm.
And he said, if you're serious, and I want you to be serious, he said, I will help you get SAG. Because I will do your paperwork. I will submit your paperwork to SAG and let them know that you are ready to join. But there is a price. And the price was $3,000
Mhm.
plus your first year or whatever dues.
Mhm.
He said, a lot of guys I tried to help, well, I don't have the money. I said, listen, you give me an opportunity to join SAG, I'll join it tomorrow. That's how bad I want this. He said, it's a game changer. I said, I know.
Mhm.
He said, but at the same time, a lot of projects that you're getting now, you won't be able to work with. You can't do them anymore. Non-union, you can't do. So you have to make a decision. Do you want to be SAG and start advancing your career and possibly getting paid more? Or do you want to keep doing non-union and getting the credits, but they're not taking you anywhere but SAG eligibility?
Right.
Okay, and that's the way it was explained to me, and I thought about it for about 5 seconds,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I said, I want SAG.
Okay.
And he submitted all of my paperwork and sent it up to New York. And within 2 weeks, they called me back. They told me what I had to do, told me how, what I had to do to pay. And December of 2019, I'd only been in the game a year and a half. I got my SAG card, and to me, that was, I've arrived, because now I consider myself a professional actor.
Yes.
And like you said, there's a lot of people that's been in the game that don't have SAG.
Right.
And it's nothing like it. It's just nothing like it.
So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
You've been featured in a couple magazines, right?
Yes, I have.
Which one?
I've been in Hollywood Times
Mhm.
and Hustle and Soul. And both of those are out in LA.
Mhm.
And basically, their interest was, we like to talk to you because we don't see your kind of journey often. And we see no correlation between police officer and the acting industry. Can you help us understand your journey?
Mhm.
And that's basically what both magazines want to talk about. And then it was, okay, well, now we understand. Let's move on to what you've accomplished since you've been in the industry.
Right.
But it's always, there's no correlation between a cop or a police sergeant and what you're doing. And I tell them, my acting coach, John Palapa, once told me when I met him, he says, listen, you worked undercover. If you can buy kilos of cocaine and convince these guys that you're not a cop, that is the ultimate form of acting. Because if you don't, you're probably going to be in a bad situation.
Exactly.
He said, and those are things that can't be trained. You can't train to go undercover. It has to be something that's within that makes you comfortable to say, I can put myself in this role and embrace it.
Mhm.
And don't worry about the danger and be successful in doing it. He said, if you can do that, you're a natural. And the 7 years I was undercover, not once was I ever made as a cop. And there were hundreds and hundreds of arrests. I mean, tons of whatever. We locked up and seized all kind of stuff.
Wow.
So he said, if you can do that, you can act. And I will teach you how to act on camera.
That's definitely on point because I mean, in front of a camera, your life is not at risk. So, going undercover, you don't have no choice but to get it right
First time.
the first time,
That's right.
period. There's no double take.
You don't do this.
You don't double take.
this. Yeah.
So I know you mentioned earlier power So you did a couple of episodes of Power,
I
right?
did.
How was that experience?
My whole thing was Power is probably my favorite show, the original one.
Okay,
And I said to myself, if I could just get on Power one time, I would feel that this journey was worth everything every piece of energy. It doesn't matter if I'm background or whatever, as long as I can say I was on Power.
okay,
And the first time I went on it, I went on and I had a scene with Method Man as an inmate.
okay.
And I'm sitting here, it's a featured background role.
Mhm.
And I'm talking to a wife. I can't believe I'm on Power. You know, I mean, it was like a little boy at Christmas. I'm on Power, you know, but you know, on those sets, they don't let you take pictures.
Right.
You know, they confiscate your caught in your phone, but
Mhm.
one of the characters, two-bit, I forget his name, Michael something. He said, listen, I'll take a picture and I'll get it to you of me and you. I said, I appreciate it. You know, and when it aired, of course, they edited it out in production, but I was on Power. And then they called back to do Power 2,
Mhm.
and I was in that.
Mhm.
But you know, since then, I've gotten that out of my system.
Okay,
And my goal now is to, you know, I'm doing a lot of auditions for network TV. So I'm trying to get, you know, co-star roles now.
okay.
But looking back, my biggest dream was I just want to be on Power. You know?
Well, listen, you've accomplished that and you've accomplished quite a lot of work here.
Thank you.
I'm looking over. And some of it, when you sent me your bio, some of it I missed, so I do apologize.
It's okay.
But you, I'm not sure if this is current, Chase. Is that
Chase Street?
Chase Street?
Yeah, Chase Street was let's see, probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay,
They actually took a chance with me because that was one of the first speaking roles I had. I was not SAG.
okay,
And they took a chance. They said, we like your look. You're a cop. We got a cop role for you. And it's a very, very intense scene. And it's really not long.
mhm,
Just be a cop. And they put me in it. And I said, okay. I mean, we shot it 2 takes. He said, you did perfect. So now I'm like, okay, well, now I have a speaking role under my belt. But I wasn't SAG,
mhm.
you know, but to me, this is another step in the journey of being where I want to be. And when I seen it aired, I just couldn't, I'm saying, wow, you know, Clifton Powell is in this. The guy from Sopranos is in this. Lakeith is in this.
Wow.
You know, I kind of started feeling, well, I can really do this, you know.
And I'm just thinking, just coming from not being in that world, you know what I mean? And you've been on some major sets.
Yeah,
You know, you did, I didn't mean to cut you
it's
off,
okay.
but you were in Sawdust,
Yes.
American,
That,
American Gangster.
that one was, oh my goodness, that was probably the most rewarding because I was able to meet a young lady by the name of Thelma Wright.
Okay,
And Thelma had already did 2 episodes of American Gangster. And when I got a call from someone that they wanted me to meet and talk with her, because she had heard that I had worked undercover in Philly,
okay,
and they were getting ready to do her second part of American Gangster. Would I be willing to talk to her?
mhm,
And I'm thinking, how did I never had no interaction with her. I knew who she was. I had
Okay.
seen her first episode,
mhm,
and I'm like, I never dealt with the with the Black Mafia. I dealt with the junior Black Mafia, but not her husband.
okay.
Why would she want to talk to me? You know, and I'm thinking, if I step on some toes, and I'm not gonna, this gonna, you know, how's this gonna come back?
Right,
But once I talked to her, she said, look, I just want to put you in touch with BET. They want to talk to you, and they will compensate you if you would be part of this documentary. So I talked to him, Fatima Washington out in LA, and I agreed to be in the production.
Mhm,
BET flew out to Philadelphia, South Philly, and interviewed me for a couple hours. about my undercover experience in Philly,
Mhm.
my interaction with the JBM, the Junior Black Mafia.
Mhm.
You know, did I know Thelma? No, but I knew of her.
Mhm.
And every time I see her, I joke, I said, Thelma, I said, listen, you're very blessed because your name never came across my desk. Because you'd have a brand new story.
Right.
You know. But she's, you know, she's turned everything around. She's helping the community, she's helping women. And that aired, and they actually put me in there with my interview.
Wow.
So that was pretty big too, because BET actually reached out to me and they said, do you have any old pictures from, you know, confiscated drugs, money? I said, I can, you know, find something
Mhm.
and we'll compensate you for them. I'm like, really?
Mhm.
These pictures are 20 years old and you want some more pictures?
Yeah.
I said, okay, sure, you can have them. You know, so they compensated me for the picture of my time, and that's another thing on the resume that I felt very, very encouraged about.
I'm going to tell you that I watched her story.
Yeah.
I listen. It was basically I think it was like a reenactment.
Yep.
It was a whole reenactment,
Mhm.
and I was just blown away. I was just blown away. I was like,
Yeah.
this chick is like,
Wasn't she something?
she was something else, and she
She
didn't
was-
play.
She was making, I think she told me 400,000 a month,
Mhm.
and she was doing from East Coast to West Coast.
Mhm.
So she was a baller,
Yeah,
and
she
she was a baller, you know.
was. All of this was happening when I think in the 80s and 90s. I'm
Mhm.
like, I was just so, I mean, I knew about, JVM. Of course, everybody heard and was hearing
Mhm.
different rumors and things like that. Honestly, I had no idea that it was a female.
Yeah.
I had no idea at first until I watched. I was like, wait, what? Because back then, I mean, you wouldn't think that a female would be into it that heavy, if that makes sense. For some reason,
She took over her husband's business and just
yes,
multiplied it. You know, she not only did she run things in Philly, she ran them in LA. And then this is before there was a lot of the postal service checking the packages.
Mhm.
So she's sending money cross country, she's sending product across country, and they're just exchanging in the air. And she's living that baller life. I mean, she was a true queen pin.
listen, but I'll tell you, a mother's love will do it.
Yeah.
A mother's love will do it. And when I say that, you all have to watch it to understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But a mother's love will do it, and it's something that was in her that she could not
Right,
stay away.
right.
You know what I mean?
But it's at the same time, it was that mother's love that got her out of the game
Yes,
because they came after her and her son.
yes,
So that's what got her out of the game.
yes.
Mhm.
That's what got her out of the game. That's important. Like with her, I'm not going to say demise because it wasn't a demise, so to speak, but it was just a lot of intricate parts of the story. I'm not going to get into the story because we're talking about Rodney's story right now. But I would encourage you to check it out. Check out the documentary so that you can check
Yes.
out Rodney in the documentary. What is the name of the documentary?
American Gangster Trap Queen, the Thelma Wright story.
So you'll be able to check him out in that. And just as I spoke earlier, you'll be able to check him out in Witness as well. I'm wearing a Witness shirt. I'm going to have the other Witness shirts that are going to be for you all to purchase. But definitely look for him in Witness. He has a major part. I know you all saw him in a trailer. You can always go to YouTube to check out the Witness trailer, film trailer. It's going to be coming out soon. We're looking to do the premiere in late August.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's going to be late August from what I understand, and you'll be able to purchase tickets and come out and check out Witness. Film premiere is going to be red carpet, so forth and so on. We'll give you some other details. Is there anything currently that you're working on that you want to share with everybody?
I recently got cast in a feature film, Sonny Liston, King of the Ring. And that's the story about former heavyweight champion Sonny Liston and his ups and downs. I got cast in a major role. It's still in pre-production, so we're waiting to see how that's going to turn out. But I'm very excited about that because that's a principal role in that.
Listen, when you said Sunny Liston, I know, my father used to talk about Sunny Liston real heavy. You know, I wasn't that much into boxing, but of course, you know, Ali was one of my favorites.
He was the man.
He was one of my favorite. And his, how do I say, his interviews were just remarkable because he would just act out. You know, you just waited for Ali to just go off in his
own way.
In his own way when they're interviewing him. And, you know, it was a joy to watch him. It was a joy to watch him fight. And my father loved Ali and I loved Ali and Sonny Liston. He would talk about Sonny Liston, but I was not that familiar with watching Sonny Liston, but I would like hear it from my dad. So I'm looking forward to that, you know, that story to check out more about him. I know he's a phenomenal boxer. He was a phenomenal boxer.
He was.
So you're working currently on the King of Rings. I'm excited for you. I'm very excited for you. And I will tell you, one of the main reasons that I wanted to have you on the show is because your journey has been, how do I say, so abrupt, very abrupt. And that's a major accomplishment. You're very focused on what you want to do. You put your energy, your time into what you want to do. You ask as many questions as possible. You always want to make sure that you get it right. And like I said, the reason why, you know, I want to have you on is because you have done amazing in this industry.
Thank you. Thank you
You
so
know,
much.
and I think some people can learn from you when it comes to actually being committed. I don't know if you heard me. Did I say committed? Committed to your career. Because so many, like I said, I've come across many people that are in this industry that they'll say that they want to do something and want a role, and you give them a role and they're lackadaisical and showing up, or they're not giving the right commitment to the work. And when they come on set, they're not prepared.
Right.
But I will say, you know, like you said, within a year and a half, you have been on some major sets, you've done some major things, and you're focused, you know, and I just wanted to celebrate that with you.
Thank you so much
on the show. Definitely. So this is Deeva with the Deeva Show. We're getting ready to sign off. I just have a quick insert real quick. I'm not sure if you all have checked out my page. However, I posted this morning that I'm going to be writing and directing the infamous Black Madam story. She's from Philadelphia. She wrote a book, and the book is the same title, The Infamous Black Madam. And we're going to be doing a screenplay of the infamous Black Madam. And those of you that are not aware, she's the young lady that, I don't mean to laugh when I say this, but she's the young lady that unfortunately was incarcerated due to butt injections, situation gone wrong. There's a lot of information going on of what happened during that period in time. She's given detailed information about her life and life changes that she has made, and talks about her incarceration with that whole situation that she went through 10 years ago. So I am feeling thankful and blessed that I was chosen to write her story, and I'm looking forward to the screenplay, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to you all. Again, I want to thank you, Rodney, for being a part of the show. I want you all to also look out for Witness film premiere that's going to be coming out soon. Get your clothes ready, girls, get your heels and get your dresses ready. The guys, get some shoes, not dress pants and sneakers, get your shoes and come on out. You know, it used to be back in the day that you had some sharp shoes. Now it's like they putting on dress pants with sneakers. I don't get it. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Anyway, moving on. This is Deeva Gordon with the Deeva Show. Usually I come on every second and fourth Thursday. Today I came on Friday. I'm interrupting y'all work Friday, but hopefully I was able to bring y'all some information that y'all can tune into, that y'all can listen to, that y'all can watch or enjoy while you're at work to help your work day move along. You're already close to like what, 1:30, almost 2 o'clock. So your day is almost over. You know what I mean? I hope I helped it move along. Like you checked it out on, even on the sneak tip, you know how you do at work, you have your little earbud in. But anyway, we're not gonna go there, but this is Deeva Gordon with DEU coming to you, ending the Deeva Show for today. I thank you all and appreciate you all for checking in with us. And we will see you again soon, all right? This is Deeva Gordon from DEU. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Take care.